You're with them in the home, watching them ignore medical advice. Hello everyone! I am retiring from being a CNA in 7 days, so I want to do a little CNA series and talk about my experiences as a certified nursing assistant, how to be a great CNA, and then in a future video I'm going to talk about some CNA horror stories because let me tell you, they are there. There's lots of those to share. Just a little bit of background, this is kind of like my retirement video, but also some tips on how to be a good CNA. I worked in home health for 3.5 years. I've had my CNA license for 5 years. I'm gonna let it expire after next Wednesday because I'm going to medical school and I'm not gonna need it anymore. So I am officially retiring from being a CNA next week, and I can tell you that if you are pre-medicine or going into health at all, or you want to like improve your compassion for people and also test your patients quite a bit, being a CNA is super fulfilling. It's hard work and it's not pretty, and it is, wow, it's kind of gross sometimes, honestly. It's gross and you have to deal with a lot, but you learn to be patient, you learn to be compassionate, you learn a lot of things about humanity, how people live. Some of that's good and some of it's bad, some of it's real and raw, and you get close with families and you learn the dynamics of sickness and wellness and death and living. And especially in home health, I think you get very, very close with the family if they're around, or very, very close with the patient. You learn so much. It's not just like, okay, yeah, I know how to give a bed bath and change sheets while somebody's in the bed. It's like, okay, this is what dying looks like. How can I make somebody comfortable? Like, is dying a beautiful process, or is it not a beautiful process? And like, how can I make people comfortable? How can I comfort families? How can I communicate well? But also, if you're going into medicine, you learn a lot about stroke and about health and wellness and diet and exercise, and how people probably aren't doing those things quite as much as they should be, even if the doctor tells them that they need to be, because you're with them in the home, watching them ignore medical advice. Why are people like that? If you are going into medicine, I think that it's kind of disappointing, but it also, I think, is encouraging in a way for if I'm going to be a doctor, and so knowing that it's hard for people to comply with things, or that they normally don't comply, coming up with creative solutions and recommendations that people would be more likely to comply with in their own homes, and kind of how to improve the communication between physicians and CNAs, and how to involve like home health care in the care plan, because let me tell you, sometimes there was not a lot of communication between what needed to get done and what the expectations were. That happens in home health quite a bit. Communication is like pretty poor in home health, I would say. I've worked for a couple companies in home health and I'm like, improvements could be made, but we're all doing our best. This is an emerging field. So some of my tips for being a good CNA: learn TED hose early, like learn how to put TED hose on comfortably and without grunting like pretty soon, because you're gonna have to do that a lot, and it's kind of uncomfortable for them, and it's uncomfortable, like it's hard to get them on. So learn TED hose, ask people about their tips for putting TED hose on, practice putting TED hose on. That's crucial. The second thing is, there is a trick where you can change somebody's underwear or put a new pair on without completely taking their pants off, which is very, very helpful if you are working in a nursing home, or people are wearing shoes and you have to help them change their underwear when they are in the bathroom. You can slide one, I'll try to find a video of it, but you slide one leg in, put it in the pants, take the other one, twist it, put it on the shoe and up underneath, and there you have it. You didn't even have to take the pants off. That saves you so much time. You don't have to take the shoe and the sock and the pants off to put the underwear on and put it all back on. Saves you time if you have a high patient load. Also, the pants have to be down near the ankle, so it doesn't really preserve dignity, but it does kind of speed the process up where they are exposed. So that's helpful. If you do work in the home and you have the opportunity to throw your clients' towels in the dryer while they're showering or bathing and get them out right after when you need to help them dry off, that is like that they love that. Having a warm towel to like be in when you're getting dry after the shower is incredible for everybody, but especially if you are experiencing loss of independence and new people taking care of you and your dignity is being questioned all the time because you're naked in front of a stranger. So like give them that luxury of a warm towel if possible. That's awesome. They love that. Another thing is if you need to apply lotion and you have hands, you're probably wearing gloves, but warm it up with friction before you slap that lotion on them because it's probably cold and it feels a lot better when it's warm. Treat people with kindness and they will probably most of the time be kind back to you. So honestly, the theme of all of those tips was like, do like the little tiny extra thing. It goes such a long way. If you can cook a meal instead of giving them a Lunchable, instead of giving them a can of soup, like if there's something they like to eat, if you know how to cook, do it. I cooked, what did I do? I marinated a steak overnight and I cooked the steak and I made fajitas and I gave him a glass of red wine because I'm over the age of 21 and that's allowed. And like, he was overjoyed. He didn't have to have a freezer meal. He literally had a marinated steak. I don't even marinate my own steaks overnight. Like, go the extra mile because it changes their entire experience and increases their quality of life so much. I love being a CNA. I'll tell you, it doesn't have to be terrible. It is gross. Sometimes you are cleaning up feces and you're dealing with bodily fluids and you're watching people die sometimes and you're having to have hard conversations with family members. People get violent and aggressive and you're in the middle of it and you have to learn to deal with like the stress of dementia at 2 a.m. when you've been working the day and the night shift. But I will tell you from the bottom of my heart that I do not regret a single moment of being a CNA. I've learned so much. So in the midst of COVID right now, thank your CNA friends. I know some people don't really understand what CNAs do, or they think we're just like babysitters, but we really, if somebody is putting in that extra effort, we make a huge difference in the quality of life of the patient, which is something that like a doctor, like I'm gonna miss doing that as a doctor because I can't do that. I can't provide that extra little spa situation, or I can't like cook a steak for my patient to make them happy. So embrace the time that you have as a CNA. Sometimes it sucks. It really is not fun. Sometimes you get burnt out. Compassion fatigue is so real. Take care of yourself, but remember that you are there to help them have happy lives while you can. So this is my retirement video. That was my little graduation speech from being a CNA. If you're thinking about being a CNA, check out those little tips. And also, if you have any tips for being a CNA, leave them in the comments. I'm done being a CNA for now, but if there's somebody who can benefit from them and they are watching this video and you have tips, leave them in the comments so they can read them. So feel free to subscribe. I am going on to medical school, but I will continue to pursue medical things and scrubs and stuff. I know people have been interested in like my CNA bag and how to survive night shifts. I'll still be doing night shifts, just kind of in a different context. So subscribe, like the video, you know, all the things. Thank you for watching this video, and I will be back soon with my CNA horror stories for some light humor. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye!